Most people over 60 believe that calcium is the magic key to strong bones. Take more calcium, and your bones will never break. Right. Well, here's the shocking truth. Some of the most common calcium facts you've been told for years are not facts at all. In fact, following these myths could quietly make your bones weaker and increase your risk of fractures. And that's important, because after 60 years, bone strength becomes one of the biggest health concerns. Studies show that nearly half of adults over 65 are at risk of osteoporosis, or bone fractures. A simple fall can mean weeks in the hospital, lost independence, and months of recovery. Calcium is absolutely essential, but the way it really works inside your body is far more complex than just swallowing a supplement or drinking another glass of milk. The problem is this: outdated advice has been repeated for decades. Maybe you've heard it from a doctor years ago, from magazines, or even from family. But new science tells a different story, one that can protect you if you know the truth. Unfortunately, many people are still stuck believing myths that may actually do more harm than good. That's why in this video, we're going to clear away the confusion. I'll reveal the 4 worst calcium myths that people over 60 still believe, and then I'll share 4 real, science-backed facts that will actually help you keep your bones strong. These aren't extreme diets or complicated medical tricks. They are simple shifts you can start making today to protect your independence, reduce your fracture risk, and keep enjoying the life you love. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to stop doing and what to start doing instead. You'll have a clearer roadmap for real bone strength without wasting time or money on advice that doesn't work. So, if you're ready to take control of your bone health and avoid the mistakes that hold so many seniors back, stay with me. Let's bust these myths and uncover the real facts about calcium. Once and for all, the first big calcium myth that many people over 60 still believe is this: the more calcium supplements you take, the stronger your bones will be. At first, it sounds perfectly logical. After all, calcium is the building block of bones, so surely taking more should make them stronger. But the truth is very different, and sometimes even dangerous. When we're younger, our bodies absorb calcium easily from the food we eat. But after 60 bounces, that absorption rate drops. In fact, only about 15 to 20% of the calcium you swallow actually gets absorbed into your bones. The rest simply passes through your body, and if you take too much at once, it can cause problems. Research has shown that very high doses of calcium supplements are linked to kidney stones, and in some studies, even calcium buildup in the arteries. So instead of protecting you, excess supplements can quietly stress your kidneys or even affect your heart. The real fact is that what matters most is not how much calcium you take in, but how well your body can use it. And that depends on having the right partners. Vitamin D is the first partner. It acts like a key that unlocks the door, allowing calcium to be absorbed into your bloodstream and directed toward your bones. Without enough vitamin D, most of that calcium simply passes right through. The second partner is magnesium, which helps balance calcium and ensures it ends up in your bones and teeth rather than in soft tissues where it doesn't belong. And the third partner is movement. Exercise, especially weight-bearing activities like walking, gardening, or light strength training, sends a powerful signal to your body to deposit calcium into your bones. Without that signal, calcium has no reason to stick, no matter how much you take. So what's the practical takeaway here? Instead of chasing bigger and bigger calcium pills, aim for a steady, moderate intake, usually around 1,000 to 200 milligrams per day. For most people over 60 years, split it into 2 smaller doses, because your body absorbs calcium best in amounts of 500 to 600 milligrams at a time. Always make sure you're getting enough vitamin D, whether from safe sunlight, fortified foods, or a supplement, and add magnesium-rich foods like nuts, seeds, beans, and leafy greens. And perhaps most importantly, move your body every single day. Even a simple 20-minute walk or some light exercises around the house can help your bones hold on to calcium and grow stronger. Here's the bottom line. Taking more and more calcium supplements won't guarantee stronger bones. What really makes the difference is absorption. and that comes from pairing calcium with vitamin D, magnesium, and regular movement. When you do that, you give your body the tools it needs to truly strengthen your bones, protect you from fractures, and keep you active and independent for years to come. Another common calcium myth that so many people over 60 still believe is this: the only way to get enough calcium is by drinking milk or eating dairy products. For decades, we've all seen advertisements that made us think a tall glass of milk was the gold standard for strong bones. And while it's true that dairy foods like milk, yogurt, and cheese are rich in calcium, they are far from the only sources. In fact, relying solely on dairy can actually limit you, especially if you're lactose intolerant, sensitive to dairy, or simply don't enjoy it. The real fact is that calcium is found in a wide variety of foods, many of which might already be part of your daily meals. Leafy green vegetables like kale, bok choy, and broccoli are excellent sources of calcium that your body can absorb surprisingly well. Beans, lentils, almonds, and sesame seeds also provide a steady dose. Small fish that are eaten with their bones, like sardines or canned salmon, are another powerhouse, giving you not just calcium but also protein and omega-3 fats that support both bone and heart health. And today, many everyday foods are fortified with calcium, from orange juice to plant sea-based milks like soy or almond milk, making it even easier to get what you need without relying only on dairy. One of the biggest benefits of spreading calcium intake across different foods is that you also get the other nutrients your bones need. For example, green vegetables give you vitamin K, which plays a key role in bone metabolism. Fish provides vitamin D and protein. Nuts and seeds bring magnesium, which helps your body use calcium effectively. In other words, when you diversify your calcium sources, you're not just feeding your bones, you're nourishing your whole body. There's another important point here. Not everyone tolerates dairy well, especially as they get older. Lactose intolerance becomes more common after 60, and drinking large amounts of milk can cause bloating, discomfort, or even diarrhea. If you've been pushing yourself to drink milk even when it doesn't agree with your stomach, you might actually be doing more harm than good. The good news is, you don't have to force it. You can absolutely meet your calcium needs without dairy at all. So what does this mean for your daily life? Instead of thinking milk equals calcium, think calcium is everywhere. Add a handful of almonds or a spoonful of sesame seeds to your breakfast. Have a serving of leafy greens with your lunch or dinner. Try canned salmon or sardines once a week. Swap regular juice with calcium-fortified orange juice. Or if you enjoy plant-based milk, choose one that's enriched with calcium and vitamin D. These simple, practical changes ensure that you get the calcium you need without overloading on one single type of food. Here's the bottom line. Dairy is a good source of calcium, but it's not the only one. And it's certainly not essential for strong bones. By broadening your sources, you not only make sure your body absorbs calcium better, but also support your overall health. So let me ask you this. Do you usually rely on milk and dairy for calcium? Or do you already include other sources in your diet? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're keeping your bones strong in your own way. The third calcium myth that misleads so many people is this: as long as you get enough calcium, you won't get osteoporosis. It sounds reassuring, almost too simple. Just take your calcium and your bones will stay strong for life. But the truth is that calcium alone cannot prevent osteoporosis. Bone strength is influenced by many factors. And while calcium is essential, it's only one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Think of your bones like a house. Calcium is the bricks. Yes, but bricks alone don't make a sturdy home. You also need cement, wood, and a strong foundation. In the same way, your bones need more than just calcium. They need protein to build structure, vitamin D to help absorption, magnesium and vitamin K to regulate bone metabolism, and, most importantly, movement to keep them strong. Without these other elements, even high calcium intake won't protect you from osteoporosis. One of the most overlooked factors is exercise. After the age of 60, many people slow down, avoiding physical activity out of fear of falling. But ironically, it's exactly that lack of movement that weakens bones and increases the risk of fractures. Weight-bearing activities like walking, climbing stairs, light resistance training, or even dancing create tiny amounts of stress on your bones, which in turn signals them to hold on to calcium and become denser. Without that signal, your bones gradually lose strength, no matter how much calcium you take. Another key piece is protein. For years, some people avoided protein foods thinking they would cause calcium loss, but science now shows the opposite. Adequate protein is vital for bone health, because bones are not just made of minerals. They also contain collagen, a protein structure that gives them flexibility and resilience. Without enough protein, bones become brittle and more likely to break. Balance and posture training also play a hidden but powerful role. Activities like Tai Chi, yoga, or even simple balance exercises at home can reduce your risk of falls, which is just as important as keeping bones dense. After all, the best way to prevent fractures is not just stronger bones, but also fewer falls. So the real fact is this: calcium supports bone health, but it cannot do the job alone. Strong bones come from a team effort: calcium plus vitamin D, magnesium, protein, weight-bearing exercise, and balance training. Together, these factors create a powerful shield against osteoporosis, much stronger than calcium by itself. Here's what you can do starting today. Make sure each of your meals contains some protein, whether from fish, poultry, beans, or nuts. Spend at least 20 minutes on your feet daily walking, gardening, or climbing stairs. Add in a few simple balance exercises, like standing on one leg while holding a chair for support. And, of course, keep your calcium and vitamin D intake steady. These small steps, combined, can cut your risk of osteoporosis far more effectively than relying on supplements alone. The takeaway is clear. Calcium is important, but it's not a magic bullet. Your bones need a complete care plan, not just a single nutrient. So let me ask you, do you currently focus only on calcium, or have you also built exercise, protein, and balance into your routine? Share your approach in the comments. I'm sure others will find it inspiring. The fourth and final calcium myth that needs to be cleared up is this: only women need to worry about calcium and bone loss. For decades, osteoporosis has been painted as a women's disease, especially after menopause. And while it's true that women are at higher risk, men are by no means safe. In fact, millions of older men silently suffer from bone loss, often without realizing it until the first fracture happens. Here's the reality. After the age of 60, both men and women experience a gradual decline in bone density. For women, the drop is faster, due to the hormonal changes of menopause. But men lose bone too, just at a slower pace. By the time men reach their 70s, their risk of fractures can be nearly as high as women's. The danger is that because society often labels osteoporosis as a female problem, men don't get screened, don't take bone health seriously, and too often miss the chance to prevent fractures before they happen. The real fact is that calcium and bone health matter for everyone, regardless of gender. Men over 60, who don't pay attention to their bone strength, face real risks: hip fractures, spinal fractures, and the loss of independence that follows. What's more, recovery after a fracture can be even harder for men, since they often have more underlying health conditions like heart disease or diabetes. Ignoring bone health isn't just about bones. It's about your ability to stay active, mobile, and independent in the years ahead. So what should men and women do? First, everyone over 60 should make bone health a priority. That means steady calcium intake from food and, if needed, supplements. It means ensuring adequate vitamin D, magnesium, and protein, and staying active with weight-bearing exercises. But it also means regular checkups. A simple bone density scan, called a DEXA scan, can reveal your risk long before a fracture occurs. Too many men never get tested because they assume osteoporosis isn't their problem, when in fact, catching bone loss early gives them the best chance to stop it. Another practical step is to look at lifestyle factors that affect bone health in men just as much as women. Smoking and heavy alcohol use are major risk factors for bone loss. Medications for conditions like prostate cancer or long-term steroid use can also accelerate bone thinning. These are conversations worth having with your doctor, because the earlier you act, the more effective your prevention will be. Here's the bottom line. Bone loss is not just a women's issue. Men also need to take calcium, vitamin D, exercise, and screening seriously. Strong bones are not about gender. They're about staying upright, independent, and living life to the fullest as you age. So let me ask you, if you're a man watching this, have you ever had your bone density checked or talked to your doctor about calcium? And if you're a woman, do the men in your family pay attention to bone health, or do they brush it off as not their problem? Share your answers in the comments. You might encourage someone else to take action today. If you're finding this video helpful so far, take just a quick moment to support the channel. Go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people over 60 discover these important health tips. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the biggest calcium question or confusion you've had in your own life? Your experience could help someone else watching today. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Senior Vic Health so you'll never miss the next science-backed, easy-to-understand guide for healthy aging. We've got so many practical topics coming up, everything from bone health and heart protection to simple daily habits that keep you active and independent. So drop a like, leave a comment, and join this growing community of people who want to age with strength and confidence. Now that we've uncovered the 4 biggest calcium myths and replaced them with the real facts, let's pull it all together into a simple, practical action plan you can start using today. Because the truth is, strong bones after 60 don't come from one magic pill or one single food. They come from a balanced daily routine. Step 1 is to get the right amount of calcium the smart way. Aim for about 1,000 to 200 milligrams a day, but spread it out in smaller doses of 500 to 600 milligrams at a time. Rely on food first: leafy greens, beans, nuts, and small fish with bones, and use supplements only to fill the gaps. Step 2 is to make vitamin D your best friend. Without enough vitamin D, calcium can't do its job. Get safe sunlight when you can, and if your doctor recommends it, consider a supplement, especially during the winter months or if you don't spend much time outdoors. Step 3 is to support calcium with its partners. Add magnesium-rich foods like seeds, beans, and leafy greens to your meals. Make sure you're getting enough protein, since bones aren't just minerals, they're also made of collagen, which comes from protein. Step 4 is to move your body every day. Walking, climbing stairs, light resistance training, gardening, or even dancing all send a powerful message to your bones. Stay strong. Just 20 minutes a day makes a real difference. And don't forget balance exercises, which reduce the risk of falls in the first place. Finally, step 5 is to get checked regularly. Ask your doctor about a bone density scan if you haven't had one. It's a simple test that shows your risk before a fracture happens. The earlier you know, the more you can do to protect yourself. Here's the takeaway. Strong bones after 60 come from stacking simple habits: steady calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, protein, movement, and checkups. When you put them all together, you create a powerful shield that keeps you active, independent, and confident in your body for years to come. So, let's bring this all together. We've talked about the 4 worst calcium myths that too many people over 60 still believe, and we replace them with 4 real, science-backed facts that actually protect your bones. We learned that more supplements don't always mean stronger bones, that calcium isn't just found in dairy, that calcium alone can't stop osteoporosis, and that bone health is not just a women's issue. Men need to care too. The good news is simple. When you pair steady calcium with vitamin D, magnesium, protein, and daily movement, you give your bones the best chance to stay strong and keep you independent for years to come. If this video helped clear up some confusion, please like the video, subscribe to Senior Vic Health, and share your biggest takeaway in the comments. Your thoughts could inspire someone else to take action today. Together, we're building a community where aging means staying active, confident, and strong.